Are alarm bells ringing for Cenk Torun? His new romance has sparked a wave of controversy across timelines and comment sections. Are alarm bells ringing for Cenk Torun? His new romance has sparked a wave of controversy that refuses to quiet down. Welcome to Turkish series stars. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and support the channel, friends, because what we're unpacking today is one of those rare moments when a single image shakes both hearts and reputations. Some loves don't just warm the soul, they reroute careers. Some posts don't simply capture a feeling, they question a decade of carefully guarded image-making. And the story we're opening today begins exactly there, right where privacy meets public appetite. Cenk Torun, who for years kept his personal life sealed off, who avoided parading his relationships, who preferred to be recognized for the work rather than the whispers, has suddenly found himself at the center of an online storm. A new relationship. A single photo at the stroke of New Year's. And a rain of comments he's never seen in this volume. Cenk is putting his prestige at risk with this romance. He's letting publicity overshadow his acting. He's showing a side we never asked to see. Are these harsh comments just background noise from the internet, or do they point to a genuine reputational crisis? Why did this relationship disturb the surface so violently? Why did Cenk bend the rules he stood by for so long? Is this love a private truth, or a public strategy? Tonight we'll look at it in detail, how a quiet, steady image began to wobble, why his relationship with Mahsin Merabet ignited claims of a publicity play, the wider context of social media's rising backlash, and how all this might ripple over Cenk Torun's career. If you're ready, we're opening one of the most debated files in celebrity gossip. In the world of stardom, not every new couple is greeted with rose petals. Some are dissected for what they imply about image, ambition, authenticity, and the brand a star has built. Cenk Torun and his new partner, Mahsin Merabet, now sit right at the heart of that conversation. For years, Cenk cultivated a disciplined distance from public scrutiny. Interviews stayed about work, questions about romance ended with a polite smile, and his name rarely fed the tabloid mill. That restraint became a badge of identity, admired by fans and respected by colleagues. Then came a tiny shift with massive consequences. The New Year's Eve photo. A moment that should have been nothing more than candlelight, fireworks, and a shared glance suddenly turned into a debate about reputation. Cenk posted a photo, no lengthy caption, no dramatic flourish, just him and Mahsin together for the very first time. The image did more than confirm a relationship, it shattered the silence that had long defined him. The internet didn't just ask, "Who is she?" It insisted, "Why now?" Understanding why that question hit so hard requires revisiting the image he crafted through caution. For years, Cenk's public identity highlighted craft and calm, disciplined on set, measured in interviews, careful about the difference between performance and private life. He stood apart by not feeding the machine. Fans repeated it like a mantra, Cenk is about his work, he doesn't stage his love life, he protects what matters. That very expectation, built slowly and quietly, became the standard by which this new moment is being judged. The contrast with Mahsin only magnified the noise. On one side, Cenk, the veteran actor who speaks sparingly, who rarely lets cameras beyond the work. On the other, Mahsin Merabet, visible, radiant, comfortable with her social media presence, unafraid to speak openly about feelings, a name that drifts through headlines because she doesn't hide. For some, this difference invited curiosity. For others, it sounded an alarm about compatibility from the first day. In their eyes, the puzzle pieces didn't seem to fit. The New Year's Eve turning point drew a line. After days of subtle hints from Mahsin, festive decor, clinking glasses, a silhouette, Cenk broke tradition and posted their first picture together. It wasn't a grand gesture, but the timing was undeniable. Peak attention, a fresh calendar, algorithms ready to roar. The photo traveled fast, and the comments went from congratulations to confrontations within hours. "Why is he doing this now?" became the refrain. Then the tone sharpened. Longtime supporters, the ones who have watched his shows since the early days, flooded the threads with conflicted feelings. Some posts were brutal. He's risking all he built for a brief spotlight. We used to talk about his roles, not his dates. He's slipping into the crowd that lives for visibility. Others were gentler but still anxious, asking whether this change signaled a deeper shift in how he sees his craft. The idea that this romance might be fueled by publicity isn't new in the gossip lexicon, but it struck louder here for a few reasons. First, timing. A New Year's reveal is guaranteed attention. Second, social media dynamics. With Mahaseen already active and unfiltered, the visibility multiplies, even when silence is intended. Third, Cenk's history. He has never been this open before. If he wanted privacy all along, some ask, why open the door now? But the audience is not a monolith. A sizable group rose to defend him. He's human, he gets to change. Everyone evolves in how they handle love. If he looks happy, why police it? They pushed back on the oversight that turns stars into property and insists that feelings come second to optics. To them, the criticism felt unfair, almost cold. Yet the opposing side had a simple counterpoint. The issue isn't love, it's visibility. Being in love doesn't require amplifying it under spotlights. So the larger question emerged, what does a star owe the public when it comes to the most private parts of life? With Cenk, the question cuts deeper because he built a kind of trust by holding the line. Breaking it feels, to some, like a breach. For others, it's freedom, proof that he can be more than a curated image, that he can be spontaneous, vulnerable, even messy. Which side of that divide will shape the next chapter of his career is still being written. And there's the career concern echoing through the feeds. We're talking about his romance, not his performances. For actors, that sentence is more than commentary, it's a warning bell. When private narrative overwhelms professional narrative, audience perception shifts. Some industry watchers note that the visibility spike can boost short-term engagement, more followers, more mentions, but at a cost. If roles and craft exit the conversation, the work begins to seem secondary, even when it isn't. Mahaseen's presence is its own flashpoint. Because she is visible and comfortable online, many assume the relationship's glare is her fault. Yet another chorus insists that this is too easy. Cenk chose the post. He chose the moment. No one could have forced his hand. That nuance matters. Responsibility here isn't one-sided. Both stepped into the light, even if one of them used to prefer the shadows. Whispers in industry circles offer a different angle altogether, that perhaps Cenk is experimenting with a new communication strategy, more open, more relatable, less distant. The calculation would be clear. In an era where audiences bond with authenticity, vulnerability reads as strength. Still, even those who understand the logic admit the risk. Once public appetite grows, it rarely shrinks on its own. The audience asks for one photo, then two, then a story, then a live stream, then explanations. So what happens now? The future of this relationship lives not just in their emotions, but in the reactions that frame it. If the visibility ramps up, more holiday posts, more shared moments, more daily glimpses, the publicity play narrative will harden. Casting directors, brands, and viewers may begin to see the couple first and the actor second. If, instead, they step back, speak less, share less, return to the quiet, this may be remembered as a brief detour, a single season where privacy slipped and then reappeared. A single image has conjured 1,000 questions. This isn't only about love, it's about the collision of reputation, perception, career, freedom, and the ever-watchful lens of the feed. And maybe the most consequential question still hangs in the air. In this storm, what stance will Cenk take? Will he embrace the openness and reshape his brand, or will he seal the door and let the work do the talking again? For now, that photo sits exactly where it started, on a timeline, between fireworks and a midnight toast, yet it carries the weight of a pivot point. And in the comments, two truths coexist. One insists that happiness deserves the sun. The other warns that too much sun burns. Somewhere between them, two people are trying to be in love while the world narrates it for them. That's where we'll leave it for tonight, at the edge of a choice only they can make. We'll keep watching how the language around this couple shifts, whether admiration returns to the work or remains fixated on the window they opened for a moment. Tell us what you think. Is Cenk truly veering off course with this romance, or are the reactions overblown? Should he draw the curtains again, or defend his love in full daylight? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll feature the most striking takes in our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications here at Turkish Series Stars. This story isn't done. As long as the photo remains, the questions will too. And we'll be here, talking about what others won't say out loud, until the next gossip report. See you soon, and to those celebrating, Happy New Year!